This is CBS.
In St. Paul, a 3-year-old playing with a lighter. A house becomes an inferno. 86-year-old great-great-grandmother dies.
A slushy rush hour makes for slow going and a number of fender benders.
A puzzled and concerned Mike Lynn talks about the Vikings taking the league lead in DWIs.
The story's coming up on tonight's 6 p.m. report.
For every farmer in America today,
there's something new going on around here.
there's a brand new name and it means a better way.
Now a good friend has a lot more to offer.
New ideas with you in mind. That new name's a real good sign. AgriCenter means more for your farm, your family, your piece of America, and everything you're working for. AgriCenter means more.
Your local AgriCenter dealer has a lot more to offer. More experience, more top quality products, more service, more value, more of what you need for your farm.
AgriCenter means more.
Get more for your farm, your family, your piece of America at your local AgriCenter dealer.
A boy playing with fire sets his house ablaze. His great-great-grandmother is killed.
WCCO Television presents Dave Moore, Colleen Needles, Mike Fairborn, and Mark Rosen. This is the 6 p.m. report.
Good evening, everyone. A tragedy in St. Paul today. Fire is sweeping through a 2-story home.
The fire and the flames spared a small child but killed an elderly relative, and Mike Strand reports.
Inside this North End home, authorities believe an unsupervised 3-year-old child was playing with his mother's cigarette lighter. He accidentally set a stack of diapers ablaze, and from there, officials say, it spread like wildfire. Trapped upstairs was the boy's great-great-grandmother, said to be in her mid-80s. Once the frightened boy ran upstairs and found his mother, the house was quickly engulfed and the victim beyond reach.
And she got him out and herself out when she turned around to go get her grandmother out. It was too late. Flames were flying out the door, and we couldn't get to her.
Most of the downstairs was gutted by fire, which caused an estimated $50,000 worth of damage to the home where 5 generations of the same family lived. Arson investigators are looking into it further, since officials consider the blaze suspicious. With Gordon Leach, I'm Mike Strand, WCCO Television News.
The house which caught fire today had been occupied by 5 generations of the same family. The season's first snowfall made for a miserable rush hour late this afternoon. At least 20 accidents were reported around the metro area. There's lots of water on the roads, and the State Patrol says the situation could get worse if it freezes.
A Northwest Airlines plane bound for the Twin Cities from Montana had to make an emergency landing today in Bismarck, North Dakota. The pilot told officials that a stairway on the jet had lowered during the flight. The plane, as it turned out, landed safely, and the passengers were placed on another aircraft. Hearings continued today into the August crash of a Northwest Airlines jet in Detroit. You'll recall 156 people died in that accident. Investigators are still trying to pin down just what happened. Alan Cox is covering the hearings in Detroit. He joins us live there now. Alan?
Dave, just a few minutes ago as today's hearing ended, there was testimony centering on a circuit breaker. Northwest and the pilots union asking tough questions of witnesses based on the suspicion that a circuit breaker failed and wiped out the takeoff warning system for Flight 255 3 months ago. Earlier today, more testimony about a possible result of no takeoff warning, a takeoff without the wing flaps properly deployed. An investigator who searched the wreckage said most of it seemed to show the flaps were retracted. Most, but not all.
And then the slats were retracted, or extended, pardon me.
Were extended. So really there's mixed evidence as to whether slats were extended or retracted in the sum total of the...
There is differences in the positions, yes.
It's a crucial point for Northwest and for the pilots union. Proven negligence of the crew could damage the pilot's reputation and damage Northwest's standing in court. So questioners for the airline and the pilots have been aggressive with investigators.
So far.
I don't think there's anything that would cause, that would lead you to think that the factuals we have so far are in any way in error, no.
standing by today, as they were yesterday, members of the families of the victims. They've been watching this afternoon. Some of them sat outside of the hearing room and said they were somewhat frustrated with the technical nature and the slow pace of the proceedings. Their attorneys, in many cases, are standing by, taking very close notes, and that, of course, will be a matter for lawsuits in the future. Dave?
Thank you, Alan. Former Minneapolis police officer Dennis Nordstrom was to have been sentenced today on felony theft charges, but he failed to show up in court. Officer Nordstrom had pleaded guilty to the theft charges last year, and he was subsequently fired from the department. Last night, he was arrested for drunk driving, and his attorney says Nordstrom was seeking medical help today. A judge has issued a bench warrant to guarantee that Officer Nordstrom will be in court tomorrow.
17 men who allegedly grew acres and acres of marijuana on Minnesota farmland face federal charges tonight. Last month, authorities confiscated more than 40 tons of pot valued at several $1 million from a farm near New York Mills in northwestern Minnesota. If convicted, the defendants face a maximum of 20 years in prison or a $250,000 fine. In St. Paul today, the case of a former church altar boy who says a Roman Catholic priest sexually abused him. Father Thomas Adamson denies involvement in the case, but he has admitted having sexual relations with other young boys. Today's court hearing was on a lawsuit which says the church should pay damages for Father Adamson's actions. Caroline Lowe reports.
The issues before Judge Kathleen Guerin boil down to how much do church officials know about Father Adamson's history of sexual abuse? When did they find out about it? And what did they do about the problem? Attorneys for a former altar boy claim the priest abused the youth in 1982 at an Apple Valley church, and the alleged incident followed years of prior abuse at other parishes, which church officials knew about but ignored.
The Diocese of Winona has been discovering sexual abuse of youth by Tom Adamson, and since 1964, they've been covering it up and transferring them. Similarly, he was transferred to the Archdiocese in 1975, and they did the same thing.
But attorneys for the church deny the allegations and claim they first heard about sexual abuse charges in 1980, when they learned of an isolated incident. Prior to that, they claim all that they had heard about were problems of homosexuality involving the priest and adult males.
They took reasonable actions at that time in terms of getting Father Adamson into treatment, in terms of putting certain restrictions on him, removing him from a pastorate and really demoting him, and continued follow-up care after that.
An attorney for the Winona Diocese also argued that Father Adamson received new assignments only after he'd been through counseling and on the recommendation of his therapist. Caroline Lowe, WCCO Television News in St. Paul.
The trial on this lawsuit is not expected to begin for about a year. Dayton Hudson reports third quarter profits down 24% from the same period last year. The company says it opened 49 new stores during the quarter, and that cut into profits.
Thanks to a local piano company, the music faculty at the University of Minnesota will soon be teaching in grand style, or in some cases, baby grand style. Over the next 15 years, Hendrix Pianos will lend the equivalent of $8 million worth of pianos to the new Ferguson Hall on the West Bank campus. We're told the new pianos are top of the line, a big improvement over what they have been using at Ferguson. Tonight, some stranded barges are once again rolling down the old Miss. Their story in just a moment.
Mufflers Plus, Auto Images, Trusty Transmission, Modine, Cartronics, Aber Auto Body, All Imports, Firestone, Jiffy Lube, Amico, Auto Mall.
I had a mean case of the blues. My stereo, the one that saw me through 3 years of college and 5, 6 serious relationships, he died. So I'm thinking, where does an audiophile with a cash flow problem go to get a great stereo? Then it hit me. Best.
When you're thinking of home electronics, think Best.
Now these are the kind of blues I can live with.
This Christmas, a lot of kids just might go to bed with visions of baby pound puppies. And baby pound curries dancing in their heads. Well, every time you buy any sandwich, fries, and a drink at Hardee's, you can get one of the babies for only $2.49. There's a new one every week, so by Christmas Eve you could have all 5, which might give you the chance to make some dreams come true on Christmas morning.
Winter. It hits hard. Fight back with a Snapper snow thrower, armed with a tough steel auger. A discharge chute that adjusts 200 degrees to toss snow out of your way. Buy now and no payments for 90 days. The Snapper Snow Thrower. It makes you want to go get winter.
See a demonstration of the Snapper single stage for only $3.99 or the powerful 8-horsepower two-stage only $8.99 with trade.
17 stranded barges are on the move again on the Mississippi tonight.
Engineers got the water level near the St. Anthony locks back up where it's supposed to be, and the barges were off. The Lois E. was the first to make her way to freedom, carrying a full load of sugar beet pulp and sunflower oil. The barges were trapped last week by the collapse of an NSP hydroelectric plant on the banks of the river. On October 27th, Governor Perpich's executive order gave most state employees a half-day holiday to celebrate the Twins' World Series victory. So they put in 4 hours of work, were paid for 8, and given the afternoon off. Not so fast, Kowalski. There were night shift workers on that date, too, you know. Union state workers claim that the contracts for employees who work a holiday are entitled to a time-and-a-half pay plus alternate time off. Yeah, well, try to get that worked out.
State Auditor Arnie Carlson has formed a special 3-person team to take a hard look at white-collar crime in Minnesota. But not everyone likes that idea. Government reporter Pat Kessler explains.
Around the auditor's office on Park Street, they call it Park Street Vice. It's a special investigative unit for white-collar crime.
It's just a unit that is designed to essentially keep the Minnesota system clean. And where it is soiled, our unit should go in and review.
The special audit team will start its own financial investigations, collect its own evidence, and build cases for county attorneys.
I think the whole problem starts with this myth that somehow Minnesota is different than any other state in the Union. And I think to a large extent we are. But are we perfect? Absolutely not.
Carlson increasingly focuses on high-profile cases, alleged fraud in St. Paul, possible misuse of public funds in Duluth, spending habits of the State High School League. Some are suspicious that the auditor's motives are political.
That is what the statutes empower the state auditor to do, and if he feels that that hasn't been done properly, then he's talking about the area of his own bailiwick.
And counties which have white-collar units of their own don't expect much change.
I would expect that he would cooperate and work with the local law enforcement authorities and would probably not intrude into their jurisdiction.
Carlson says we'll all be hearing a lot more about his white-collar crime unit in the future. As long as there are politics and money, he says, there'll be something to investigate. Pat Kessler, WCCO Television News.
Auditor Carlson also says a number of investigations are underway in what he calls severe but very complicated financial crimes.
There's a thought that says it is indeed fortunate to have one's cup runneth over. Fortunate, unless your cup runneth over onto your silk blouse, your fine linen tablecloth, your wool slabs, whatever, wherever, which is precisely why we make Scotchgard Fabric Protector. It keeps ordinary spills from becoming extraordinary stains on virtually any fabric. Use Scotchgard Fabric Protector and let your cup runneth over.
Worldwide sponsor, 1988 Olympic Games.
Severe weather has messed up another Monday morning. If you don't have to go out, don't.
Got important things to do. Goodyear always gets me through.
The Goodyear Vector has a self-cleaning tread for extra traction through snow. And some people have learned to make the most of it.
Unfortunately, 5 more inches are heading our way.
Goodyear, take me home.
You've probably heard about the Wholesale Club, where people who operate restaurants, service stations, stores, and churches buy merchandise at prices below their normal suppliers. Listen to what they have to say about the Wholesale Club.
Good prices and a lot of variety. We buy all of our business supplies here, and so much cheaper than any place else.
I come for the prices.
Come in and rediscover the world of wholesale buying at the Wholesale Club. Oh, where do you think service stations buy these?
Burnsville, White Bear Lake, Inver Grove Heights, and Fridley.
More savings, more selection at your More Floor store, Jerry's Floor Store. Cabin Craft Homestead, the hottest in textured plush, in stock in a variety of colors. Also from Cabin Craft, Caprice, and Briarwood, affordable gold label carpets with stain resistance. Save on the inlaid beauty of Armstrong Designer Solarian and Designer Solarian 2. Select patterns in stock with discounts for immediate delivery. Buy now and get installation for the holidays at your Moore Floor Store, Jerry's Floor Store, Spring Lake Park, Burnsville, Minnetonka, and Oakdale.
Well, I had forgotten how miserable and painful it could be to be outside in Minnesota.
Yeah, we just kind of wimped into it today. We didn't...
It really wasn't that bad.
We could have had 4 or 5 inches that we'd had to have shoveled or something to the first.
That was the original thought, wasn't it?
Well, we said 1 to 3 out of the weather center, but we kind of ended up on the low end of that, and I guess that's the way you need to kind of walk into it, not run into winter like this. We did get some snow accumulations further up north, up in the Duluth area, 2 inches of snow, St. Cloud 1.5 inches of snow officially. Here in the Twin Cities, 1.1 inches, but the only place you could measure that, I'm sure, is on some grassy areas around in parts of the Twin Cities. Radar has continued to show part of the reason why. Nothing more boring than watching radar replay of snow, by the way, but what it indicated was that most of the stuff started out as rain on the eastern side of the Twin Cities before the snow finally engulfed us late this afternoon and started to accumulate as the ground is still warm enough that it was melting a lot of it. Right now, the clearing line's pushing in from the northwest. Probably in the next couple of hours, there won't be any more snowflakes at all falling, and we're just going to continue to get colder and colder and colder. That's of concern because if we have the puddles of water standing on the roadways by morning, some of that could freeze, and it could be a little bit slippery. Right now, still some snow from south central Minnesota through the Twin Cities over into the extreme northwestern part of Wisconsin. Some of the temperatures up for the northwest of us already dropping into the 20s, and it'll be those temperatures that'll be down over us by morning. So temperatures around 20 degrees, and that will make some slippery spots. So be careful out there. And I think most of the traffic tie-ups this afternoon was just reduced visibility in the wet roads, and even wet roads are slippery even without the snow on them. The clouds are definitely moving off to the northeast, clearing coming in from the west. Our skies will clear tomorrow, and we should see some sunshine. So it'll be clear, but it's going to turn colder, that's for sure. Our weather map for tomorrow, cold front pushing well off to the east. There's another little Alberta clipper forming up in Canada that's going to come roaring across the northern part of the state at least, maybe bring us some clouds in here by late tomorrow night and a chance of some flurries on Thursday. But in the meantime, we're going to enjoy some sunshine and some cooler weather. 30s over most of the upper Midwest, 20s up in the north, 40s pushed on well down into the south, and that's going to be our weather pattern for the next couple of days as we get a nice cool blast of air coming down out of Canada. High today, 39 degrees, 40 is the average, 33 the low temperature. Officially, 26/100 of an inch of rain. If all that had fallen of snow, about 2.5 inches of snow, we ended up with about 1.1 inches of snowfall. All our current conditions, there's snow falling at the airport still, 32 degrees, 96% humidity, winds out of the north at 23, and the winds are gusty. Going to stay a little windy through the night tonight and the day tomorrow. Dew point of 31, 29.79 with the barometer rising. Well, the forecast. Light snow will be ending. We'll be clearing later and turning colder with a low of around 20 degrees. Northwest winds 15 to 25 through the night. Same thing for tomorrow. It'll be mostly sunny, though, and cold and windy. 36 degrees is all we'll get up to for a high temperature. Down to 24 tomorrow night under partly to mostly cloudy skies. And then for Thursday, mostly cloudy as that little clipper comes down with a slight chance of some flurries, a high right around 36 degrees. The extended outlook keeps us cool, keeps us clear, at least into Saturday. We'll have some increasing clouds with another chance of some rain or some snow on Saturday. Back to you, Colleen. We'll update this, by the way, at 10 o'clock tonight for you.
Okay, Mike, thank you. Well, on a cold, snowy night, there is no place like home. And tonight, a lot of furry creatures have new homes. 3,000 stuffed bears went up for sale this morning in Bloomington. It was a fundraiser for the Children's Heart Fund, which provides corrective surgery for needy children around the world.
When Mark Rosen joins us in just a moment, he'll preview, among other things, tonight's encounter between the injury-riddled Minnesota Strikers and Tacoma. Mark in a moment.
What makes the Volkswagen Jetta the best-selling European nameplate in America? Some insist it's the German engineering. Some think it's because the Jetta is fun to drive. A few insist it's because of the way the Jetta handles. And there are others who think the Volkswagen Jetta became our top line because of our bottom line. And you know what? They're all right.
At $89.90, the Jetta is a great value at your Twin Cities Volkswagen dealer.
Imagine how good it would feel to be regular for the rest of your life.
Time to run, boy?
You could
could be. Irregularity is often due to a lack of fiber, and doctors recommend Metamucil fiber by name. They know how effective use of natural Metamucil can be. Ask your doctor.
Baby Sparky would like to sleep in this morning.
Metamucil, and you could be regular for the rest of your life.
This Christmas, you'll experience the hoopla and the hassles chasing after those so-called goodbyes, but you can still be left in the dark. Where can you find value without the hassle? Our own hardware. We've got loads of great gifts. Like this First Alert smoke detector with UL-listed horn and test switch, priced at $7.99, battery included. Or a GNB Champion maintenance-free battery for quick starts in any weather, just $59.99. So come in from the dark and see what you've been missing at participating our own and how-to stores.
What exactly is a medical specialist?
You can see on this scan of Jimmy's bone structure.
When do you need a medical specialist?
See that, Mary? Your baby's doing just fine.
Where do you find a medical specialist?
Thus far, the cancer is limited to the area around...
How do you know that you have the right medical specialist? For the answers, call Hennepin Faculty Associates at 347-4262. 240 medical specialists who teach, conduct research, and provide skilled specialist care.
Kirby Puckett notwithstanding, you knew the MVP in the American League would come down to a Detroit or Toronto player, the two teams that battled right down to the American League East.
And the winner, the first member of a Canadian team, Dave, to win the Most Valuable Player Award. It is, of course, George Bell of the Toronto Blue Jays winning the Most Valuable Player Award in the American League. No really big surprise that the Blue Jay outfielder took the honor. He had 47 home runs, drove in 134 for the second-place Blue Jays, although he did slump the final weekend. He went 2 for 26. Bell received 16 first-place votes. Detroit's Alan Trammell was next with 12 first-place votes. Trammell, of course, had a banner year at shortstop for the American League Eastern Division champion Tigers. The Twins' Kirby Puckett was a distant third. The Minnesota Strikers and their fans will be enjoying the cozy confines of Met Center tonight as they host the Tacoma Stars. To preview tonight's game, striker forward David Byrne. And David, Strikers are 1-1. Players have talked about the importance of getting off to a good start to keep those loyal fans who supported the team when it appeared they would fold.
Hi, Mark. Obviously it's important to get off to a good start. We did by beating Cleveland 8-5, and Chicago came in here on Saturday and packed their defense and really did a good number on the forward, myself and Alan Willie, and in keeping us off the scoreboard. But I think we've got to take each game at a time, and tonight is a totally different team coming in here and a totally different game.
David, the North Stars have talked about they've had trouble winning at home, period. They've talked about the fact they've been pressing too hard. Have you found that to be true at times with the Strikers playing at Met Center?
Well, obviously you want to do well at home because we want to get the fans out to come and see us. We want to entertain them. I don't think it's a major issue. I think we just got to tend to relax a little bit more and let things fall into place.
On nights like this, are you glad you're playing indoor soccer?
Sorry?
On nights like this, are you glad you're playing indoor soccer?
Oh, for sure. It's snowing out there, it's cold, and I'm glad to be indoors. I was brought up with the outdoor game, so it's just it's a pleasure to be inside confined to a nice warm building.
All right, David, thanks much. Good luck tonight against Tacoma.
Thank you very much.
David Byrne of the Minnesota Strikers. Well, Mike Lynn is indeed a puzzled man. The Vikings general manager doesn't know why his team has suffered a rash of DWI arrests, 7 in the past 14 months. Hassan Jones is the most recent incident, arrested late Sunday night in Bloomington.
We've talked to our players about this. We talked to them in training camp about it this year. And but as I said, they're young and they win a game and they go out and they'll celebrate and they'll have one too many drinks and this is a result of it. So, but I hopefully this will, we might go another 5 years and not have another DWI.
Tonight in our Dimension segment at 10, we'll focus on drugs and alcohol in sports and what the Vikings are doing about it. The NFL has been far from exciting this year, but last night's Denver-Chicago game was exactly what the league needed. Excitement, finally. John Elway put on an exhibition. He led the Broncos to 2 comebacks in a 31-29 thriller. Elway threw for 341 yards. It was not the kind of game the Bears are used to losing, and Mike Ditka did not take it sitting down.
What we've built here, we've lost. We've lost the discipline. We lost the will to excel. We've lost that. we have a great will right now, you know what, to exist. And we'll be one of 28 teams in the National Football League, and we'll play out the schedule.
Mike, you guys are 7-2. What are we going to do if you start losing? The Metrodome will be rocking Friday night at 7 when a number of world champions, a lot of big guys, will play in a celebrity touch football game to benefit the Courage Center in Golden Valley. One of those world champions, world wrist wrestling champion Scott Norton, tried on the largest jersey ever made today. Norton will be a blocking back for the KQRS regular guys. Now, this jersey was way too big for former Viking 330-pound Curtis Rouse. Look at Norton. He goes 6'4", 360 pounds, 23.5-inch biceps, and a 60-inch chest. He'll be protecting quarterback Gary Gaetti, who has earned the starting job. I'll be the head coach. Don Shelby, among others, will be one of the wide receivers. The game is against the stars of the AWA. 7 o'clock Friday night at the Dome. All proceeds again going to the Courage Center. Dave.
He's in trouble if he doesn't protect Gary.
You got that right.
Big guy. All right, thanks, Mark. Well, in a moment, we'll meet a man who's become famous as a real fast talker.
Mutton joint from Friar Tuck and pushes them into the river. Then everybody laughs. Ho, ho, ho! They're not called merry men for nothing. Back at Nottingham Castle, the evil sheriff signs a death warrant for our fearless hero in green, but nobody can...
If they could see you now, out on a puncheon cruise, you're eating fancy food and doing what you choose. I'd like your friends back home to get a good look at the first-rate carnival cruise that you took. All I can say is, wow, hey, look at where you are. What a fun ship, holy cow. They'd never believe it if your friends could see you now.
Take a 3, 4, or 7-day cruise on Carnival, the most popular cruise line in the world.
Team up with Menards and 3M to winterize and save. 3M weatherization products are on sale now, from V-seal to door bottom. Window installation kits are on sale, too. These interior kits have double-sided tape for easy installation with just a hairdryer. On sale now for just $244. Plus, buy 4 window kits and send for this free Olympic sports bag directly from 3M. That's the Price Right sale at Menards.
We're helping you build America's heartland at Menards.
What do farmers have to say about the performance they get with Eradicate?
I was looking for a herbicide that would do a better job than the lasso that I'd been trying before. I went to Eradicate, and I've had very little trouble. It works when it's wet, it works when it's dry.
We've been having such inconsistent control with the lasso that my dealer recommended that we try Eradicate. And it was cost us $2 an acre less, and we had excellent control.
For better grass control than Dual or Lasso, farmers like you are switching to Eradicate.
His incredible wit.
You're only as funny as you feel.
Her incredible smile.
I love to smile.
And the incredible Real Good Time. Next on Channel 4.
It's appropriate that in the few seconds remaining tonight, we have the world's fastest talker to fill them.
John Machida was in town to push his new cassette, The 10-Minute University. At our 4-year university, he attracted an admiring throng as he read from his 1-minute Moby Dick.
Have you seen the great white? Next is up to the Pacific. Ahab keeps pacing the deck as the ship sails on and on and on and on through hundreds of pages of painfully padded pathetic paragraphs. Have you seen the great white? And yet another year goes by, and then the lookout yells, "Star, she blows! It's big, it's white, it's mean, it's Moby Dick!" They all hop into the dinghies and they row for days, but Moby gets away. Then a typhoon hits. The sails get ripped to shreds and they all get wet. Then a lookout yells, "Star, she blows!" again. Back into the dinghies. This time they harpoon the heck out of Moby, which really gets them mad. So Moby munches a few men, bashes a few boats, punctures the Pequod, gives Ahab a ride, and everybody dies. But the fish and ish.
John Machida's 10-Minute University cassette sells for $5.95, and that covers tuition.
And that covers tonight's 6 p.m. report. Thanks for joining us. Good night, everyone.
Lucky you! Yes, now you can have a McDonald's Totally Delicious McDLT at a very special price. And that's not all. That same price includes a large Coca-Cola and McDonald's large-size world-famous fries. Plus, yes, there's more. A refrigerator and an oven, all for $2.69. McFridge here keeps the lettuce and tomato crisp, and McOven keeps the big beef patty warm till you put it together fresh. So hurry, folks. Limited time only.
Oh.
Some of us find it hard to get a good night's sleep because of aches, pains, stress. We need relief. Ideally, something natural. For troubled sleepers around the world, the answer is Wool Rest. A layer of pure wool fleece, shaggy fibers so resilient they cushion and comfort sensitive joints and muscles. Wool Rest helps you sleep longer, deeper, to wake more refreshed. Why spend another sleepless night when there's a natural solution? Exclusively at Dayton's.
If you can do this, or this,
Or this. You can load a Fuji drop-in load camera. Fuji drop-in load cameras are